Okay, I guess this is it.
Are we on? Are we live? We could be live. Oh boy, this is exciting. We are kind of live. Don't move too bad. See if you can hear me okay. I can turn that down a bit. That's not a little too annoying. There we go. That looks like it should be okay. Alright. Stop reverberating and doing weird things. There we go. That looks like it should be okay. Alright. Stop reverberating and doing weird things. There we go. That looks like it should be okay. Alright. Okay, so give it a second, because this is a little weird. If you could see how I've got this set up, you would be laughing at me right now. So give it a second, because this is a little weird. If you could see how I've got this set up, you would be laughing at me right now. All right, we're gonna shut me up. So that sounds like it's okay. That's really kind of loud. Is there any way I can control that? Oh, there it is. Let's just do that. There we go. So you got some music in the background there. But hi! Hello, I'm Deadlinux. I'm sorry, I didn't even introduce myself. I've been sitting over here and just like streaming in real life, and if anybody popped in, they're like, whoa, what's this guy doing? I don't even know. That's kind of weird. You can read it though. Oh, you can. Oh, good. If I go full screen, I think you can actually read the piece I've got up. Awesome. That's the way it should be. Cool. Okay, so basically what I wanted to do today is I wanted to get on the books a little bit because I haven't had a chance to stream a whole lot. And right now I'm actually on site in Houston for work. So what I'm doing right now is just to kind of get some streaming in so I can actually get not stats. I'm not, oh, so I can pull in some of those sweet views. No, it's more just because I want to make sure it at least have some videos in the rotation so people don't think I'm dead. And Twitch doesn't think I'm dead either, because that could always be a problem too. So, but anyway, welcome. Hello. How you doing? I do have the chat up. I do have everything up. I do have a bunch of thank yous from people first, though. It looks like, let's see, the last time I was streaming, which was a while ago, What's Up 13, thank you for the follow. Candy 1233 used a bit to cheer. I think that may be a mistake, but thank you for the bit. I appreciate the bit. Sunflower Geek followed. Thank you for that. Turn that back down again. Sorry about that. Let's see. Gone Dragon is followed. Thank you for the follow, sir. Fav Alive and Stupid Echo. Thank you so much. I didn't even do anything, and I have people that are hoping that I eventually come back from the dead. So I appreciate that. What's this? Yeah, I am. Yeah, I'm in Houston. I'm only 4 hours away. Well, technically speaking, that doesn't narrow it down a whole lot, does it? Hey, Samara, good to see you. And you just subscribed with Twitch Prime? Thank you for that. I appreciate that. Thank you so much. Good to see you. Welcome to the stream. As strange as it is, I'm actually wedged between a table and the front of my hotel room so I can have people see what I'm reading on the board. And then I've also got here, oh, you're in Fort Worth. Why is everybody in Texas? Goodness. I think Angel's in Houston. I would still, I need to ping him. I figure this is better than a ping. I figure I can let him know I'm in Houston by doing this. I'm still here for another week or so too, so. And I would say it'd be awesome to drive up to see you guys, but I'm stuck here because I worked yesterday. I'll be working all day Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Friday I fly out, so it'll be crazy. Texas is a cool state. You know, I really am enjoying my trip here. I mean, when I'm not working and stressed out and trying to get things working and all that kind of stuff. It's been a lot of fun. The food is amazing, so that's been kind of good. But I've been sleeping horribly in the pollen, actually. I don't have allergies, but the pollen this year here is killing me. I don't know what it is. So it's kind of cool. What's the W for? Oh, you mean my middle name? The W is William. I'm just gonna give that to you. I ain't even gonna hide it. My middle name is Connor William Shank. William was my grandfather's name, although no one ever called him William. They always called him Denny. So I would never really know William was his middle name, but that's where it comes from. So yeah. Yeah! Oh, by the way, hi Colin, how are you? I didn't mean to take you away from your game. How are the Falcons doing? Is this a sports thing? Because I don't watch sports as much as I should. So I don't keep track. Hopefully. Is it really that bad? Oh, I'm sorry. Well, hopefully this is a little bit more entertaining for you. I thought this would be something where I can actually give you... let's see, can you actually see me okay? I don't want to turn it. I'm using my magical method of using the coffee maker as a cell phone stand. We'll see if that... Is that gonna break everything? Looks like it's okay. Okay, cool. Documentary. You can see me fine? Okay, good. Cool. Wait, it was a Falcons documentary? No, what do you mean documentary? I'm a documentary? Is that what you're saying? A documentary's boring? Oh, you said, what was it? Did you say it was a Falcons show? Watching Falcons. Oh. I eventually catch up after a while. I get it now. I understand. It's all making sense. I thought you were talking about like the sports team, because I think, isn't that a thing that people do, is watch sports with the sports team and stuff and the things? I don't know. But it was a boring documentary. I'm sorry about that. You know, the documentary actually that everybody's been talking about lately is the one on Andre the Giant, the wrestler, speaking of sports. And I have yet to see it myself, but everybody's been saying it's amazing, so something I'll be keeping track of. Okay, so should we get started? The first thing you may want to do is you may want to run the command, let's just see if it works, is I just added a new one to Nightbot, which is dot poetry here. Let's see. Is that going to work? No, it's not. Damn it, I thought that would work already. Nightbot, are you not running Nightbot? I just got a tap on my wall too, so I'll try not to be too loud. We'll see. Maybe not. No, Nightbot's sitting in there. Did not run? Why aren't you running? Nightbot, stop being bad. Give me just a second here. Dashboard. Part channel, join channel. Yeah, I know that. We're already good. We know how to do that thing. Okay. So, hopefully you can still hear me okay. So I'll try not to disrupt my neighbors. Of course, it's the middle of the afternoon, so I don't think I should have too many problems there, but we'll see. Let's see, that's going that one. William's a boring name. Yeah, I've never been that proud of it. I am proud of it. I shouldn't say that, just in case my family is watching. I do like the name, but that's where the W comes from. So, there you go. Work. Do I still not get that? Did I screw it? Oh, I know what I did. I screwed up the command. Give me just a second. It's the link I'm trying to get you for the website that I'm using, so you can see the stuff in the background. Let's see, edit. Is there an alias? No. If the command is supposed to call another command, no. It's just supposed to be that one. Right. And it's supposed to be that link. Yep. Yeah. Pound. Right. Do the thing. Thank you. Let me get rid. Maybe it's the timer? Where's the timer? So I set up a timer too. Maybe that's the problem. Oh, if I want the timer to call command. Okay, let's just do that. Do this. I'm messing with Nightbot. Path message is required? Fine. Willoughby? You want my name to be Willoughby? Or Watson? Or, what about, Weatherby? Or, what? I'll think of something interesting. Yeah, it could be whatever you want it to be. I don't give a damn. Let's just see if this works. I'm just gonna try and get it busted. I'll post the link in the chat here too. But it should go off. Come on, do it. No? Do I have any of my commands working? Nightbot is busted. Wait, no, that's not right. Nightbot has already moderated the channel. Well, Nightbot is deciding to be a pain in the butt today. Watson would be okay. All right, let me try Watson. We'll see. I'll change it. I'll have it change. No, just kidding. Yeah. Join channel. Ensure that you modded it. I already modded Nightbot. It's totally fine. Well, here's the link anyway. So that's where all this is coming from. So that's what I wanted to read tonight. So, or today, I should say. Something that's a little bit interesting too, and it's something I wanted to incorporate. keep thinking about, I keep missing streaming because I want to get to the next playthrough, but we still have to finish up a little bit with the last Skyrim playthrough, but I want to get to Jackie-O because I have a lot of ideas of how I want it to work. I keep talking through my head, but I want to use it as a way to incorporate writing back into my streams, so I can use that muscles that I don't get a chance to use very often. So that's kind of why I wanted to do that. But today I thought, rather than just stream from my hotel room and just mess around and just talk, let me give you something I can actually entertain you with. So I used to be, or my degree is in poetry. So I got my English degree, my undergrad degree in English, and then I went on to try and go for a bachelor's in English, and I didn't really like it. So what I did instead is I went for my MFA in poetry, and I got my MFA in poetry a long time ago now. So you had to create a thesis, and you had to create a manuscript and all that kind of stuff. This stuff that I'll be reading today is a mix of both. And I've been trying to get back into it in the past 5 years or so, and it's hard to get back into it because it's a nerve-wracking process in some ways. And I take it very seriously, and I probably shouldn't. But what you'll see today is I'll try to do stuff all over the map, and I'm trying to think if I have, let me pull up Google Drive too. So if there's anything interesting, I can pull that up too, that I don't have listed on this website. But that website is public, so you're welcome to go there and check out whatever there is there. And most of that stuff I've edited recently, so we'll go through that stuff first. So I figured that'd be something, right? Okay. Most people I talked to ever found out I was into poetry and English hated English, except right now the branch that I'm at, the guy there, all of a sudden, I was working at the counter because we're doing a turnover. So we're turning from one software system to another and training everybody in. It's a long process, and it has a definite cutoff, and you have to go to paper between and data transfer and all this kind of stuff. Well, he was walking by, and he said, "Miles to go before I sleep." And I'm like, "Robert Frost?" Yeah, stopping by was by so evening, and he was an English major, just like I was. It's just really weird. So, funny how you run into people, right? Okay, well, let me stop bantering around. How do I look? Do I look like an idiot? I look like an idiot. Okay. Good. Is everything looking okay? Yeah, we got the chat inside. I've got the event. Oh, I gotta fix that someday. I'm still using the Streamlabs app. It looks like it's doing okay. But, I don't know. We'll see. I was gonna get Drive open. Give me a second. Let's see. Can you actually hear the music in the background? Maybe you can. I was going to get Drive open. Nope, you can't. Okay, so I can actually pause that. So let's do that for right now. Cool. So you can. I don't even know if you can see that, but actually you can, can't you? You can actually read the music there, which is crazy. You do. I'm a bio major. You endure English and literature. I think it's sad that more people don't branch out of their main areas of study because there's so much to learn and enjoy in other fields. Right. I think that's the thing. I was reading something today. What was it? It was just a comment. Of course, I was reading it online, and which of course was the kind of the ironic part, because one of the things it was saying is that if you believe that you can learn the depth and breadth of human psyche and emotion experience through what you've read on the internet as opposed to literature and history, you're wrong. It was just a really interesting way of putting it, and it basically said that, a lot of the work that still is in written form, or even is in novel form, or in book form, even if it's been digitized, is still going to be significantly more deeper in value, and something we don't really consider a whole lot.
If it's been digitized,
so I thought it was funny.
it's still going to be
Guys, I'm like an
significantly
idiot.
more.
Shut up, Deadlinux. Okay, so let me shut up and actually get into this, because I have been talking too much, and I don't know why Nightbot doesn't want to work, but it doesn't. So if you need to, if you need that link again, let me know. I may post it sporadically. I've got it in my clipboard, but I also want to pull up Google Drive in case we need that, because that's where I keep a lot of my work too, because it makes it easy to just share back and forth. But it's also got all my Skyrim stuff and panels and things in it too, so go away. Where is my Connor's Works? Is that right? This could be 2015 collections. Oh, yeah, this is it. Okay. So, oh come on, there's gotta be older stuff than that. 2015, which should be all the stuff from. Oh, it's all sorts of stuff. Okay, so yeah, we can take a look at that later if we want to. Okay, let me show you about the first one here. So this first poem that I want to read, because that's the whole point of doing an IRL stream about poetry, is to actually read poetry, is How to Fold Time. This was a weird one. This one actually went through several different revisions. And it says 2016, but it's not really 2016. It was worked on far along before that. But it was, I think, a completely different poem. Like these pieces were all hacked together, and it was all kind of piecemealed. And it turned out okay. I don't know if I'm happy with it, but I think I'm done with it. So I'll read it, and then you can see what you think. So, How to Fold Time. In the hours it takes to drive across one state, stitch the 12-inch wound shut on your right hand, the one you've cradled since childhood. Work with your left, quivering, sweating from pain. In the minutes needed to set your wristwatch to daylight, grind an anthill into the soil. Send thousands of red beads scurrying away from home. But in the seconds spent focusing on a mourning dove at dusk, sluggishly dragging your sight through shades and shadows for the pale bird, be the crow at sunset, pecking through fallen leaves in the gutter below a stop sign, and sing a song. Someone will understand. And I think that at the bottom is kind of the point I was driving at. I don't think there's a point to this, and when it comes to poems that I wrote, I don't necessarily know the meaning of them, and I don't necessarily think that poets should be allowed to tell their own meaning either, even though a lot of them try to. But this one definitely doesn't. But a lot of it comes from the bottom. This all doesn't make sense. It's all things that can be done to change environment or to change, and actually that quotation mark should not be there. But it's almost like the things that can be taken, actions that take no time at all, and actions that are tedious. That was kind of what I was going for, I think, but I could be wrong. But yeah, you know, when you're looking through this or look at that, be two different things. I was trying to play with the opposition of two different birds. Doesn't necessarily work. And crows are always really poetic. So, but I thought that was a good one to start off with. So that's How to Fold Time. Now, the other reason I picked that one is because I think I printed it off once upon a time, way back when, and it's now stuck to the fridge at home, and so I have to keep staring at it. So I may actually rework it, but we'll see. So that's the first one here. All right, let's take a look at another one. Let's see. No, just go to My Writing. What are you doing? Add Writing. Oh, My Writing. There we go. Okay. All right. Oh, we'll try this one. The Classroom. This one's actually fairly straightforward. Yeah. No, I hate that poem for that reason. It does make you feel dumb. It makes me feel dumb. Does it make you feel any better? I was more in love with the words than I was with the poem. If that makes sense? But it's one of those that I didn't want to work with it anymore, so I just wanted to say it's done. So if that makes you feel any better, yeah, don't worry about it. Okay, let's go to my writing. But so let's pick this other one here. This one's a little bit more concrete. Oh no, I got actually. All right, this one's gonna be a little tough. I may have to scroll down to it. Okay, so this is the classroom. When I wrote this, I wrote this years and years ago. So when I first started teaching in college, I never taught, K through 12, kindergarten, 12th grade, 10th grade. I didn't teach high school, nothing like that. Bye, Samara. Yep. I'll put the recording over on YouTube too. So thank you for stopping by and thank you for the subscription. I appreciate that. Take care. We'll see you later. Yeah, I don't think she's. Try one more. I'll try one more now. Try one more poem. They'll be there. That's the thing is I'll put it in my. I'll put it there and load it up. Not running for that reason. I've got to be somewhere and just head to stop by for a bit. Enjoy the rest. Yeah, it'll be there. Thanks for stopping by though. I will always take these and put them over on YouTube unless it's something absolutely pointless. This is not pointless. I wouldn't do that. I'd want to. I'm not going to do that. I'll make sure it's uploaded so you guys can catch it whenever you have the chance. So, yeah. Okay. Next one. The classroom. Like I said, it's when I first started teaching, and I copied this. I didn't copy it. I stole some of the ideas from my mentor who wrote a similar poem or similar poems like it. I think every teacher writes a poem about teaching. So this is mine. So it deals with fish. The classroom. To the fish, I ask, what are your dreams? And they sit silently in the water. So I wait for them to crowd around the question, poking and nibbling. I know if I pull the hook away from them too soon, they won't jump for it. I know if I pull too hard, the hook won't set, the bait wasted. So I wait. The anxiousness pulls like the water. The fish kick against the current, keeping close to the question, staring at it as it floats in front of them. Then one hits it, hard. I pull back, jerking, trying to set the hook. The fish thrashes and pulls, stretches and flails. The eyes flash in the water, its body catching light, but then it's gone. Then they're all gone. But these were my first, and the hook I used wasn't strong enough to hold. Those fish will leave the school, move from stream to river, from river to lake, from lake to ocean. But one will still have the hook, my hook, caught in his mouth. Now I like that. There's one problem with it, and I just read it now. I tried to set the hook. Hook wasn't strong enough. But then I say the hook's still going to be there. It's not the hook that failed, it's the knot. That's how technical I can be with these. The knot failed, not my hook. So I may have to. So I have to say the knot I used wasn't strong enough to hold. I could actually edit that right on the spot, and I should. Well, I'll come back to it later. But yeah, it's a cute. It's trying to be a cute poem about teaching, right? But the reason the imagery from the fish comes from ice fishing, and I remember like if you're ice fishing and you're looking down the hole and you're looking at all the perch, they'll just sit there staring at your hook. They'll just kind of crowd around it and just sit there, and then one of them starts trying to get it. So that was what I was trying to capture there. I don't know if I did it or not, but that's okay. Played with the line lengths. You'll notice it is fairly free form. I am trying to catch a certain rhythm, but I design the lines like how I read. So that's kind of that's how the line length goes. But you'll notice I fall into iams pretty quick. So, but these were my first, and the hook I used wasn't strong enough to hold. I mean, it's not trying too many real funny tricks here. I have a couple others to do that though. So, yeah. Good, cool. Even though it's got the mistake in it that now I've just noticed. Now I feel bad about it. All right, let's go for another. Ooh, let's see. Okay, So, Call, let me ask you: do you want a dramatic one or do you want a light one? Because I've got some of these. Some of these get to be cheer jerkers, and some of them are not. Oh no, let me do this one. This one's fun, kind of serious, kind of fun. So I've already changed. I asked the question and then I took it out from under you again. That's how horrible I am. Let's see. This one. There we go. Yeah, and you're not gonna be able to see that. That one you might have to see from the link. So if you go to the link that I posted, fix it then, he says. Well, fix it. I'll fix it. I'll fix it. Both. You want both? Okay, you'll get both. But if you go to the link, which since Nightbot isn't playing nice, I'll post it again. I don't know what's going on with that. I may have to switch chatbots like immediately. Because there's a link at the top. So this poem is about a poet called Tom McGrath, or by the name of Tom McGrath. Tom McGrath was a writer in the area where I grew up, where I grew up, who came to the area from the West Coast, but he was born out here, and he strongly influenced the writing programs that I came from, but he died before I got there. But he influenced the professors there, and a lot of the students read a lot of his work. I did too, and you kind of had a love for him. And he was, there's stories, I can't even remember a lot of them, so I'm not even going to try to repeat them. But, excuse me, when I was in the writing program, and to kind of let you know, the writing program, I went into it right after my mom died. And I can remember receiving the acceptance letter, I think, while we were in the hospital in Mayo Clinic in Rochester, Minnesota. And it was kind of a last-ditch effort to go back to school, because I knew I was already failing out of my master's degree for a bachelor's, or for a master's in English. I wasn't going to finish it. And the MFA, which was across the river, didn't have a grade requirement. It didn't require a GRE. It just required a writing sample. My writing sample was pretty poor, but they accepted me anyway. And I took that as an opportunity to take everything I could and put it into that work. And this was one of the poems I wrote shortly after being in the program. I had been in it for like 6 months or so, and I'd learned about Tom McGrath and I'd learned about other writers, and had this dream, and it sticks with me. My poems generally don't, but this one does, because it's a warning and it's a reminder. So hopefully you can see it on the screen. Miracles at Night. So, as it says across the top, the annotation there, a dream I had about the poet Tom McGrath a long time ago. And then I've got the link for where you can read more of him if you want to. He was there, waiting for me when I fell asleep. He was there, leaning elbows on knees in the dark. He was there, and the moon, bright headlight, was behind him. He sat holding a crystal glass of whiskey, and we talked. I was across from him, in bed, the sheets I held firmly across my waist. His face was shrouded in sticky black shadow. His suit was brown and smelled of old cigarette smoke. But it was what he said. He kept speaking in music that made me bite my tongue. He passed me the glass of whiskey, dark and sweet, that I sipped and grew dizzy. He talked about my work. He had come to see if I was finally ready. I told him my poems are aborted, false. He asked me which miracle I wanted most. That one's a little tough, because there's a line in there that's missing. And I took it out. So, the last line's bad, and I can read it now and say that. So there was a line in here, and there was a line in here, where he had come to see if I was finally ready. And there was a line right here that says, I am never ready. and you're almost like waiting for a miracle or something to happen. That's what this is supposed to do, and it doesn't do it. So you asked me which miracle I wanted most. Well, I'm not talking about miracles at all in here, except in the title. So most of the poem is here. So this last part needs to be reworked. But yeah, it's still creepy though. I still remember the dream. And it's just like, it's almost as if you woke up in the middle of the night and saw somebody sitting across from you, and then they started talking to you. That's kind of what I was trying to do here. But then I got in love with the idea of Miracles at Night being a great title, and I think that screwed this up. If I look it up here, I can actually find an older version. And I can tell you what line is missing there that I got rid of. Okay, so this is, I don't know if this has got it. Yep. Okay, yeah, and this is what it was this is what it used to say. So these, I changed it and I screwed it up. So the last stanza used to be, I told him I am never ready. I told him my poems are aborted, false. I told him I was waiting to write something good. He asked me which miracle I wanted most. That would do it. That would give the two other lines in there to give it a little bit more of a beat, and I think it would sound better. And it would also give it up a little better. So yeah. Shoot! That sucks. So this is an editing session. Where the heck is my notepad? Hang on. Alright. Paper everywhere, not a drop to drink. What? That doesn't make any sense. Okay. Alright. I'm back. Alright, so we said fishing at night. It's the knot that broke. And then miracles. Or fishing, actually. It wasn't called fishing at night. Miracles. Put last stanza back in. Actually, I wonder if I can do that right now. Can I edit this on the fly? Am I logged in to edit it? I'm not. I have to manage it. I could do that right from here, but I'll leave it. Otherwise, I don't want to get disorganized, because then I'll have one draft one place, one draft another, and it's really hard to keep track because I've got a few. I've got a few drafts. So it's a little bit funny that way. Okay, so that's Miracles at Night. Let's go back and let's find out what else we have. So you don't care about what I'm reading, right? So let's read a horrible one. Let's do this one. Little tiny guy like that. This is one I wrote. There was, gosh, we'll get into some of the meat of it now. A lot of these poems, or the big bulk of the work of the poetry I submitted for the program, was written during the time I was there with my mother in Rochester while she was before she passed away. So there was 2 weeks we were there. It was kind of a last-ditch effort to see if her cancer could be cured, but she had already been 6 years in. This was the third resurgent of it, and I think we were just kind of hoping for a miracle. But the poems, some of these poems, like this one, describe that whole process. Why did I take the line out of it in the first place? That's a good question. I think I kind of learned less is more, and the problem is if you don't have much to cut from, you can kind of cut the legs out from under it. So it's almost like going back to sculpting, or going to carving and sculpt. Carving's probably better. Like, let's say you're working with marble or you're working with wood, right? If you have a larger starting point, you can make more mistakes and recover. If you start small and you remove a piece, it's a lot harder to have it hold back together, right? Poems are the same way. So I took that out thinking that the two lines at the end would be a lot starker and they would have a lot more punch if they were left like that. But reading it, I like it better when it has the sound to it. So I think it was because I was looking at the page and I wasn't reading it out loud. I think it's part of it. So we'll see. Part of it too is I didn't like how much it said I at the end, and it sounded kind of whiny. but maybe it needs to sound whiny. I think that's kind of the point, because that was written from a perspective of somebody who wasn't comfortable with their work, and still isn't, but at that point was a little bit more uncomfortable. But yeah, no, that's a good question. I never know. Ask me tomorrow, I'll probably change my opinion. Okay, but this one, you can probably see, you can tell the situation, I'm not a very religious person, as you may have figured out. This is not saying anything against religion, but at this point in time, I was not a big fan of the person who was presenting it. So, imagine we're in the hospital room at the moment. That's where the setup is. The Chaplain and the Crow. It's an older poem. I haven't edited it too much, so it may sound a little raw. The chaplain waits in the doorway, like a crow on a black branch in winter, looking for glittering things lying lost in the snow. She swoops into the hospital room on black sleeves with sharp glasses and a calm voice. She speaks of making peace, sees my mother laying quietly alone, no family around. Bird smell fills my nostrils, her words make her slow. I leap from my chair, take her throat in my teeth and ring the chaplain around the room, shaking her like a sock. That part didn't happen. I really wanted it to happen. I wish I would have had the guts to have spoken up, but I didn't. So I put it in the poem instead. So yeah. Okay, let's find another one here. Let's switch mood a little bit. I'll brighten it up a little bit more. Let's see, what else we got here? Ooh. Let's do this. This is going to sound creepy, but it's not. Let's see. Yeah, I thought you might like that one, Colin. Wishful thinking. Yeah, but you know, and I don't know why I don't play werewolves in Skyrim, right? I think I may have to. I may have to give it a shot. Because obviously I have an inclination for it if I need it. Okay. So this one... Yeah. Sometimes there are no words. It's true. And I don't know if she saw me staring at her. I wasn't in the room at the time, but... Or maybe I was. I just didn't think of myself as being there. Those poems were difficult because I wrote them all on the spot and then worked on them afterwards. And then you fall in between this sort of half and half world where how much is memory important, how much do you really remember, and how much are you going to put in to make the poem good. And that one's a little bit of both, obviously. So it's kind of interesting that way. Okay. This one is Watching Children in Winter. This one is a reference to a very old and dead Chinese poet, Po Chui. Po Chui was a writer in, 500 BC, I think. He was a governor in China, and there was a poem he wrote about, he wrote poems, but then there were writers in the Midwest, particularly Robert Bly and James Wright, who kind of revolutionized the sound and the images that kind of shaped a lot of modern poetry. And James Wright, who is a hell of a poet, but he writes shorter stuff, and his book was The Branch Will Not Break, and I can read some of those poems too. I have no problem doing that. I just want to make sure to give credit to the writer and make sure everybody's cool if I do that. But he wrote one about being at the end of a long rope waiting to be pulled in. Something like along those lines, because Po Chui, as governor in China, would go to these remote places to speak with people. But he also wrote a lot of poems about how to be a good person and observation, and he didn't get caught up in a lot of the really heavy stuff of politics at the time. So I really liked what he said. and there was a lightness to him. And I remember I was in the same apartment at the time, and I was looking down. The apartment building I had was a big brick block, and right next to it was I don't think it's there anymore. It was a daycare, and they had a little playground in the background. And it was snow. It was wintertime, complete snow, and I remember looking down and seeing all these little tiny kids with their snow rompers on. So they're all bundled up and just kind of trotting around. Of course, they're brightly colored. Well, that was where this came from. So here we go. Watching children in winter. For Po Chui. What glorious gumdrops are these? They move in the white snow. Red, yellow, blue, green, shining brightly. Wondrous Christmas. Single file, proceeding inside, they curve around the sidewalk, decorating the cake of newly fallen snow. Oh, how I read you, Po Chui, now. Was this what you wanted me to see? To know? And that's it. So, kind of just observation. Just to get that image and try and see if I can get it. I was really happy with this one. I think I barely changed it. Turned out okay. So, yay. Alright, let's get to a heavier, or a bigger one, longer one. These are all pretty short. Let's see. There we go. Cell phone calls. This is a later one. Yeah, there we go. There, perfect. Okay. All right. Let's see. All right, let me look it up here. So this is actually more recent. I wrote this one after I graduated. Wrote a bunch of these after I graduated. I'm not even going to introduce this one. Don't need to. It's a poem. It's got words on a page. Actually, it's not even on a page. There's no paper. I'm not even. We're fully digital right now. I'm streaming using a digital screen. Just crazy stuff. Okay. Cell phone calls. At a green light, she looks left across two impassable lanes of traffic, and you honk the horn in your head. You're behind her. The silhouette of a hand attached, cupping her ear like a Van Gogh with second thoughts, maybe a smile full of teeth. And laughing with her ear cut off from the horns, holding it while she sits in traffic in front of the green light. A cell phone call, a conversation with a friend who isn't in the car or stopped at the light. Her eyes aren't looking left at those cars, held expectantly like horses before a gun. Maybe she sees a diamond ring, a sale at Zales Jewelry where the counter clerk didn't know how to treat a woman. He said, "What a catch I was," and can you believe he said that to me, and I'm like in my 30s. She laughs in a car the size of your first apartment, the one just after college, before the first loan payment. Great place, wood floors and a Murphy bed. Third-story walk-up. You could see a good half of the city from that window. You think that's why you didn't get married the first time. That's a horrible line break. Crap. At last she looks forward, her car jumps ahead, and she veers into the next lane over, peering over her right shoulder, with that mouth definitely full of teeth, her hand still cupping her bleeding ear. She doesn't see you, already turning off towards the Walmart. Slipping back into that silvery school, you hear a horn. You'd move, but the light's red. I was actually pretty proud of that one, but then I see the line break that's screwed up. Hey, what's up? This isn't Linux Gaming. What are you doing, sir? Hey, oh damn, bleeding ears. Oh no, what's wrong? Is it too loud? Am I doing something wrong? What? Oh no, the ears aren't bleeding. It was like Van Gogh. I didn't mean it like that. Oh, please tell me the sound isn't bad. Oh, finally Nightbot decides to go off. No, sudo, I am running in Linux. Actually, what you're seeing on the back here is running an HDMI off of my Chromebook running Gallium OS. So I can still say I'm running in Linux. And technically speaking, I'm streaming off of my Android phone, which is a Google Pixel, which is running Linux as well. So I'm not gaming. I said those words? I said bleeding ears? Did I say bleeding ears? I did say bleeding ears. Oh, I said Van Gogh, yeah. Why did I say? Why do I not even know what I'm saying? Oh, cupping her bleeding ear. Yeah, that's right. Her ear's not really bleeding. I don't know if I can get away with that. So welcome everybody. Hi, how are you doing? I just thought since I'm streaming in real life from Houston, I don't really have a whole lot to offer, so I thought, hey, I'll read some of my poetry that I've got. So I thought maybe that'll be interesting. We'll see how it goes. But basically, and Colin can attest to this, it's been kind of a workshop. So, and I don't mind. That doesn't bother me at all. Please don't use your phones while driving, people. There you go. That's kind of the point. So, check this out. All right, so she's talking on the cell phone, right? We got Van Gogh here. Van Gogh cut off his ear. We all know this. To give to somebody. Okay, and there's relationship stuff going on in here where we think, the guy's in his head, whatever. There's some sort of regret happening. We don't care what. But it is here. This is a reference to that. I don't know if I can get away with it. I don't think it makes sense. Maybe it does. Maybe it doesn't. I don't know. But it was kind of that idea of her cupping her ear like this, which almost would think like your ear is bleeding. That's what I was going for. I don't know if I got away with it. But anyway. Hands-free, people. Even hands-free is dangerous. That's cool. All right. Cool. Let's do another one. Let's see. What else we got here? Oh, by the way, the link there is if you can't see it on the screen behind me, because I'm trying to follow along just because I think that's a little bit more useful, a little bit more interesting than just listening to me talk. You should be able to grab them from the website, writerscafe.org. It's just where I put a bunch of stuff. Because I like it, not because it's a great website, but because it's easy to get feedback, and it's also got the built-in editor to it, which I like. So, and you guys can get to it, so you can follow along while doing this. So we'll see how it goes. All right, let's see. There's one longer one. That was a good one. I like that one. Let's see. Except for that stupid line break. God damn it. So everything's shaking. I apologize. If you guys could see this setup, you would laugh at me. Really. I mean, literally, the camera's being held by a coffee maker, and I got two laptops here, and one of them's my work laptop. Cell phone. Line break. Excuse me. Okay. Let's see what else we got here. Ooh, that's a sad one. Oh no, let's do this. Yeah, this is an old one. This should be my attempt at a pantoum. And I can't remember what the rules are for a pantoum. You can look them up on Google, I suppose. But I can't remember. It was probably really exciting when I tried it the first time. I don't remember anymore. It's been too long. But yeah, this is one of the ones I put in my thesis when I graduated. Noticing a pattern, are you calling? I like crows. I like birds. Yeah, so I don't know. Probably weren't even crows when I looked at them. They're probably blackbirds, but yes, more crows. Yeah. Okay. Actually, no, it's not necessarily because I was big. Well, I am a big fan of The Crow, the movie. That was one of my favorites. Well, still watch it every once in a while, even though it's horribly bad or it doesn't stand the test of time. Okay, so like I said, I can't remember the rules for this. When you hear it, you'll kind of get it. It's repetition of line more than sound, kind of. Word more than sound. You'll see it. If you know what a pantoum is, you probably know what I'm talking about, and you'll see there's mistakes in this too. So I'm not saying these are perfect. Isn't the collective noun for crows a murder? Is it? What? A group of crows is called a murder. Wow. Well, that changes things a bit. I didn't know that. Holy crap. Yeah, let me just read it. We'll see how it goes. All right. So, make sure everything's working on here. Oh, shoot. Yeah, so I'm actually using wish I could show you this, but I got the camera working exactly the way I want it to, and I don't really want to move it, otherwise it'll ruin my position. But no, I'm working off my, well, like I said, working off my little Chromebook. And the HDMI is actually extending the screen over, so I'm actually using that to keep track of events. And then I'm sharing this up here. And I do also have, Spotify is there. I just don't have it playing right now because I figure it's hard to hear because it didn't. That's the only thing that's not working right now. It was working earlier. I've been watching Twitch streams on it all week, but the sound to flip it from the onboard to the HDMI to the TV, Gallium OS and this Chromebook, Gallium OS tries its best, but the hardware is just a little weird. So otherwise, I would have had that playing too. Let me shut up and read a poem. Sorry. Okay. The trees are full of the thick, loud fruit of crows, dancers talking in tongues, touched by fullness they sway back and forth, wailing something more than the snow or the sky. Dancers talking in tongues, touched by the stony sky and the dancing trees, something more than the snow or the sky, my eyes wider now than they've ever been. The stony sky and the dancing trees, they move like drunks teetering, my eyes wider now than they've ever been. Back and forth the trees are swaying. They move like drunks teetering, we dance full of winter sickness. Back and forth the trees are swaying with me to a chorus of crows. We dance full of winter sickness, of the grimy snow and the gray sky. With me to a chorus of crows we dance full of the cold cry. Of the grimy snow and the gray sky we dance with no meaning, only breathing. We dance full of the cold cry, and at the end I fall with the trees. We dance with no meaning, only breathing fullness. We sway back and forth wailing, and at the end I fall with the trees full of thick, loud fruit of crows. I read a little too fast, and I actually missed a comma. But you kind of get the point. The end words have to, the certain passages have to be repeated. And I think I cheated, because I think I edited it more at the end. That's my first attempt. It turned out okay. Could be worse. All right. Okay, I'm going to take a quick break for just a second. Use the restroom real quick, and I will be right back. And then we will continue. Let me get on to the next one here. Let's go to the next page here. Ooh. Yeah, we could do, no, let's do this one, then we can do that one. This one's crap, but you'll probably appreciate it. Okay, so we'll do that one in just a second. Don't go anywhere. Let me turn the music back on. And I will be right back. Alright, sorry about that. Ooh, I like this. What is this? Oh, we'll come back to it later. Add to my music. Sweet. Cool. Sorry about that. Also, hang on. I thought I'd be sneaky and I wasn't. Very clever, beautiful. You almost love the mnemonic sway. You were there for that one? Blue Cat, smart Blue Cat, sir. How are you? You're catching me at my most vulnerable when I'm reading work that just needs a lot of work. Thank you, though. That was kind of the attempt. I was trying to get that to happen, too, so thank you for that. You say that so nonchalantly. Hey, smart Blue Cat, how you doing? Oh, I'm fine, just flooding another temple. It's like, this is just something you do on the weekends, is you flood temples? I mean, I love it, that's fine. Just, I need to talk to you about your pastime. Are people in them while you're flooding them? Are you just enjoying the chaos, or are you creating them to be flooded before people get there? I'm just kidding. Give me a bad time. How is everybody, by the way? Gosh, I got actually a group of people here. So, Panda, Colin, Smart Blue Cat, Pseudo, if you're still there. Samara was here earlier. So thank you guys for stopping by. I appreciate that. It's good to, I just kind of wanted to have a stream thrown up so I could actually see if anybody's around. See if anybody knows if I'm still alive. So cool. Welcome. All temples should be flooded. It's an expensive pastime. Yeah, you keep going through temples. Shoot. Cool. Alright, I appreciate that. We can appreciate your hobbies. I can write bad poetry and you can flood temples. That's fine. Bad Wolf, hey man, good to see ya. Thank you so much for stopping by. How are you? I didn't even look in the. I'm using the Twitch chat, so usually I can see people if they're just in the background too. So, but I'm not doing that this time. So cool. I'm glad you were able to make it. Cool. I'm very happy. Eee. How many people are in the chat right now? Or how many people are here right now? Not too many. A couple. Cool. Thank you. Thank you for stopping by. All right, let's get back to it. Okay, so, like I said, welcome everybody. What I was just doing today, just to kind of make it a little more interesting, is that I'm on site right now in Houston. So I'm just streaming from my hotel room right now. And there it is. There's the link. So if you're interested, or if you wanted to read this, or if you want to have it on the screen for whatever reason, if you want to see what I'm reading, it's too hard and too blurry to see on the screen behind me, feel free to pull it up. That's a page where I put a lot of my work. It's also on the Discord too. Yeah, so I just thought today would be a little bit more than just me bantering on uselessly and saying hi. I can actually give you something productive and entertaining possibly. So that's what I thought I'd do today. So what we're doing now is just going through a couple of poems. Let's see, what time is it right now? It's 2 o'clock. I do need to take off at about 3, so I'll read until then, possibly. Maybe longer, who knows? If you do have any requests, for whatever reason, let me know that too. I'd have to look them up and give credit, but if there's a poem you want me to read, people could say, that's kind of cheating though too. I don't want to steal somebody else's thunder. But there are some poems I really, really love, and sometimes I get carried away, so I do apologize for that. Anyway, let's get into it, shall we? And this one, I've got to pull it up on my side here too. So we're doing, what is this? Ghost Planet. And it's a picture of Pluto, for obvious reasons. This one's rough. So this one's only gone through a couple of drafts. So it's got a lot of ways to go. But I was trying to play around with the idea. So I don't know if it ends where it needs to be. It's got a lot of promise to it. But, excuse me. And you can also see the comment here. Back when Pluto wasn't a planet and all that. So I was one of those that always thought Pluto should be a planet because I grew up with Pluto being a planet. So that's what this is about. So Ghost Planet. Can I live swinging like a planet in an elliptical... Let me try that again. Holy crap. Why did I use elliptical in a poem? All right. Can I live swinging like a planet in an elliptical orbit, getting so very close, then so far away, scientists question? Books recalled to erase me out of them. My name hissed at, an affront to the American. A planet existed and almost touched them, warm. Now the memory of me turned black. Shoot the freezing breeze with Pluto, and we swing on his porch swing. A planet that doesn't exist, the god of death and me. Swinging back and forth, Persephone comes out to check on us, sitting out in sub-zero planes, an orphan satellite. She should worry late in the week into the leak. Oh, I'm sorry. Let me back that up. Let me start back from here. Shoot the freezing breeze with Pluto, and we swing on his porch swing, a planet that doesn't exist, the god of death and me. Swinging back and forth, Persephone comes out to check on us, sitting out in sub-zero planes, an orphan satellite. She should worry. Late into the week-long evening we ever drunk, to not exist without strong whiskey deserves an oblong rock up a concave hill. Loneliness isn't then. But he finally asks the question, why do they push me so far away? Pluto, I mean. It's the orbit. There's no such thing as centrifugal force. Nothing ever pushes anyone away. Spinning even as far out as we are, swinging back and forth. That's the away part. But someone must be pulling back. A lot of ideas in it. And I hate trying to write a poem about an idea, because it never really works. But I do it a lot. So it's got pieces to it. It's going a lot of different places. But I liked the idea of sitting on a porch swing with Pluto on his planet, talking about how it's not supposed to exist. But I don't know how far I got. This is a crappy reference. This is supposed to be a reference to Sisyphus. I don't think it'll ever get there. It may have to go. A lot of these pieces may have to go. And I don't know if it makes it there at the end. Bringing the thing about centrifugal force. Elliptical, centrifugal. I mean, there's a lot of hard multisyllabical words in there. And it doesn't really have a sound to it yet. But I like the idea. So I guess this one's more of a kind of a footnote, basically. Words sound good. That's the problem too, is I use words like that because I like the way they work and they sound fun. But yeah, it's got a ways to go. Okay. Moving right along. Oh, backed up. Shoot. We can try this one. Oh, this one's kind of depressing. Again, another one that's a little bit raw. I don't know if it works. Some reason Nightbot decided to wake up. Oh, I know why. Well, wait a minute. Let me see my... Hang on. Let me see if my actual command works now. It does. Okay, so if you ever want to see the link, you can. And I'll leave that in there. I'm not going to take it out. So if anybody ever wants to see it, might as well get my work out there. I'm not out there. You know what I mean. It's not like I'm trying to push stuff on you. It's just something fun. And it was also a big part of my life for many, many years. It still is, but to a lot lesser extent, especially since my time is so shot. But we'll see. Maybe I can work it in somehow so I can start getting back into it. Okay. Orbits. Can you tell I have an interest in space? Yeah. Gravity, specifically. And that was something I was playing with a couple years ago when I started trying to get back into writing. Gravity really intrigued me. I was trying to think of how to use it. So I was thinking of different objects, uses, places where you see it as a dramatic factor. Obviously, planets and space and satellites and all those kind of things are one of them. This is also a time when I was reading up on NASA pretty much every day. So that's part of it too. Anyway, orbits. Oh, why does that font get weird? Okay, whatever. Don't listen to me. Each winter is distant, but then in summer, when I swing closer and closer to you, I get hotter and hotter. But each year spins further out from the last. Now Jupiter keeps eyes on me, and Saturn jealously guards his rings. In case I come scavenging for shiny things, they know the colder I get, the further out I stay. Someday, when you can't pull me back in, another dead and mindless asteroid flying further and further on inertia alone. Nothing to stop me. It's an incomplete sentence, and I hate that. I mean, it kind of works, because I've got the colon here. Someday, when you can't pull me in, colon, another dead and mindless asteroid flying further and further on inertia alone. Nothing to stop me. Ooh, shoot, I bumped. No, shoot, it slipped. Are we okay? See if it actually works. Nope, we're okay. We're alright, shoot. Okay. Just checking to make sure everything's still lining up the way it's supposed to. Like I said, the phone is balanced on a coffee maker, which is becoming like a really easy way to balance a phone if I need to do this. Gravity just keeps you down. Gravity just keeps you down. Thanks, Smart Blue Cat. I appreciate that. Because that means I'll probably not ignore it as often. I read that to my wife years ago, and she's like, really? No. I don't know, it's a poem. What do you want from me? Okay. Let's see what else we got here. Alright, let's get into some of the ones that I really have put a lot of work into. A lot of these that I've shown you raw stuff, I've shown you stuff that's gone through a couple drafts, stuff that I really would like to go back and work on. But let me show you some of the ones that I was proud of. Jeez. Oh, but I kind of want to read this one. F it. I'm going to read this one first and then we'll go back. Because this is just freaking goofy. Do I ever plan to publish? I've tried. Not ever a full book. But I have sent my work off before. I mean, back when I had the time to actually package it up and send it off and package up and send it off. I never sent off my work as much as others. Nowhere near. Because I was in the middle of graduating and getting married and changing jobs and moving into a house and becoming a stepfather. So it kind of took my time away from publishing. But I did have one poem published in a very small medical journal, University of Virginia, I think. And I think I've got it up here. But I'd love to. But the thing is I have to start... I want to edit more and get back into making them a little bit more polished, kind of like we're doing here. And I figure, what's publishing than just reading it or sharing it with others, right? So I figured Twitch is as much publishing as anything else. But I think that what I want to do more than anything else is at least start looking at the material again and reading it again, because that's the hardest part. Is I can send it off, sure, but I also want to keep producing. And that's been tough. So, but yeah, when I get to a point where I actually have a regular schedule, sending stuff off to get published again would be something I'd like to do. I'd also like to make a chapbook or something small that I can publish locally. But it'll get there. Maybe not tomorrow, but someday. A poem about cancer. A poem about dying of cancer. So it was one of the poems that I wrote when my mother was going through, those 2 weeks before she died. We were at Rochester, in Mayo Clinic in Rochester, where I was talking about this earlier. That a lot of the bulk of my manuscript for when I graduated with my MFA years ago was from that time. I wrote, a couple dozen poems, and that was all that time period of those 2 weeks of getting her there and then being with her before she died. So one of the poems there is one of the ones they accepted because it worked and it fit their requirements. So I have poems that can fit that niche. Don't know how I feel about that, but yeah. Sorry, I don't mean to get into this. I was really into that. I worked on that really hard with some of the poems. I'll read some of the tougher ones here in a bit, so you can see some of that work. But there's enough work that I have that I could do this for several days running, and I don't think I'd run But yeah, it was, I wanted the reader to feel something, not necessarily sadness, but sometimes hopelessness or sometimes frustration. And I didn't necessarily care if the poem was accurate to truth, like we were talking about with the chaplain and the crow. I wanted the impact there instead, and I think sometimes the poem evolved differently. But yeah, so a lot of the ones I worked with to begin with were depressing, were hard, and I think that's one of the reasons why I have trouble going back to poems, is that was where I pulled most of that material from, and that went away. I mean, that eventually, I got over it. I mean, the grief process does eventually kind of diminish. And so if you're not pulling from grief, where do you go next? And that was tough, and I still have a problem with it. So yeah, I mean, give me something that's really sad and depressing, I might have a way of getting a poem out of it. Give me something that's uplifting and soul moving, I may not be able to write about it. So those are things to think about too. I mean, every creator, I think, runs into that. Where do you pull? Where are you digging into that big black bag of stuff? Oh my goodness! Do I have a bless your heart in my stream? Hey, I haven't seen you in so long. How are you? Holy crap! Hang on. I have emoticons for just this purpose. There we go. Good to see you. Holy crap, you've been off the radar more than I have been. It's good to have you. How have you been? I'm assuming, are you still working the same job with the horrible hours? I'm assuming so. You caught me in one of my IRL streams, which I'm explaining my poetry, and I don't know. You love my face. Yeah, it's a thing. Oh, well, thank you. Now that I got it all cut off, I will be growing it back out, so you guys will see it grow out, slow progression of it again. But since we kind of got to the end of the Skyrim playthrough, pretty much, then I was able to cut it out. What the hell, hubby? Well, thank you for the shamrocks, dude. Holy crap, 400 bits. Thank you, sir. My goodness. And did the tell me the alert went off. Did the alert go off? Yeah, I can see him I can see him in the chat though too. Damn. Hey, how are you guys? Good to see you. Holy crap. Well, thank you so much for stopping by. Oh, and there's the link. So you got it too. Bite it. Bite it. Bite what? Bite the shamrock? Bite the what? Have I ever heard of Pam Aries? I wished I'd looked after me teeth. Let me write it down. I can do that. Aries. I wish I'd looked. Oh shoot, I can do it right now. Pam. Oh, good. Yeah, let me get you out of here. Sorry, buddy, you're gone, Johnson. Boom. Out you go. Bye-bye. Sorry about that, everybody. Every once in a while we get one. Cool. Okay. Let me see. Where is that? Pam. There it is. I wish. What? Oh, she's got an official website. Okay, so I'll read this one quick. Ooh, it's a longer one. Okay. So, at your request, call, and I can do one of these. So this is, thanks. Try to catch them quick. You should have seen you probably did see the comment because you were one of my mods. So this one is from, yeah, I don't know. Welcome to Twitch. So there's the link. So, let's see here. Oh, I'd wished I'd looked after me teeth. Oh, I wish I'd looked after me teeth and spotted the dangers beneath all the toffees I chewed and the sweet sticky food. Oh, I wish I'd looked after me teeth. I wish I'd been that much more willin' when I had much more tooth there than fillin', to give up gobstoppers from respect to me choppers and to buy me something else with me shillin'. When I think of me lollies I licked, and the licorice all sorts I picked, sherbet dabs, big and little, all that hard peanut brittle, my conscience gets horribly pricked. My mother, she told me no end. If you got a tooth, you got a friend. I was young then and careless. My toothbrush was hairless. I never had much time to spend. Oh, I showed them the toothpaste all right. I flashed it about late at night, but up and down brushin' and pokin' and fussin' didn't seem worth the time I could bite. If I'd known I was paving the way to cavities, caps, and decay, the murder of fillins, injections, and drillin's, I've thrown all me sherbet away. So I lie in the old dentist's chair, and I gaze up his nose in despair. And his drill it do whine in these molars of mine, to amalgam, he'll say, for in there. How I laughed at my mother's false teeth, as they foamed in the waters beneath. But now comes the reckonin'. It's Methy are beckonin', and oh, I'd wish I'd looked after me teeth. Ha! Published in 2008. Pam Ayers, everybody. That's a different one. Ha! Pam Ayers. Nice. Cool. Cool. It was a good one. Thanks, Colin. Thanks for that. That is limerick form. So it's the Oh, I can imagine. And I wasn't going to try it with that. I could try it. I probably would do better trying to attempt a bad Scottish accent than I would be with an Irish one. All right, let me read one more of this weird poem, and then let me get to the ones that I should show you before we wrap up here. Okay. So this is another one that's fairly raw. I like the way it was going. I don't know what to do with it. We'll see where it goes. It may change. So this one is Larry Doesn't Pray. And I'll have to move it, I think. So let me do this. Okay. Yeah, I saw she's got a link on there. Oh, you can listen to her reading it too? Right. Well, actually, the link that I posted in chat has the listen button too. So I like listening to Scottish and Irish authors. I like listening to all authors. What am I talking about? Except ones that read poorly. There are some that read very, very poorly. And there's ones that just can't get out of your head. And Edna St. Vincent Millay, if you ever hear one of her readings, childhood is a place where no one dies. Oh my God, it's harrowing. Very good stuff, though. Very good stuff. And actually, I have poems influenced by her. A couple poems. It's strange. Anyway, let me read. Or I will read. You don't have to let me read. You're letting me read. I'm not doing it. Okay. Larry doesn't pray. Those pilots aren't persuading Larry to pray right now. The wings buckle and hold true, the soothing voice over the speaker's comms, and the stewardesses bring just the right amount of gin. Larry doesn't need to pray. Now, as the Rockies crumble underneath white spider web and the woman gently kicks the back of Larry's chair and the man in the seat next to him sleeps, Larry doesn't need to pray right now. He flips through the in-flight catalog, looking at electric slippers and contoured neck pillows, light-up Christmas ornaments, and waterproof shower radios. Larry doesn't need to pray now. The world below revolves past him, turning its face away from the sun. The shadow of night is behind them as they sail through the air. Those pilots aren't persuading Larry to pray right now. As the ocean finally comes within view, the Scrabble-board shore pulling away behind them, Larry puts the catalog down, his hands together, and does not pray. He turns the light off above his head, the man next to him, velvety breathing, and Larry remembers the first time he slept over at a... Ooh. There we go. First time he slept... Damn it. I am... Here. Okay. Over at a lover's apartment and had to learn how to pray. Now he puts his hands together, lazily thumbing his wrist for his pulse and counting breaths. 1 in, now out. 2 in, now out. A slight pause, a deeper breath in, and Larry does not pray now. Instead, he turns his head away from the window towards the man, salt pepper beard, salt pepper mustache, glasses, Old Spice, and tweed, and Larry does not kiss him or touch him or do anything else. Larry closes his eyes and counts pulses up to 60, then over again. 1, 1,000, 2, 1,000, trying to count seconds. Larry doesn't pray now. He waits for the time between seconds, between pulses, between breaths. In between, Larry prays. It's weird. I like the repetition of saying that over and over again. Larry does not pray, Larry does not pray, Larry does not pray, and obviously it's about airplanes. So I don't know what to do with it. It may take a little bit more work. I had fun breaking the line in a weird place. So that's why I was doing that. And so maybe it's more of an experiment than anything else. So that's probably why. She's from Oxfordshire? Berkshire. Okay. Scrabbleboard Shore, you like that? It's yours. You feel free to steal. Yeah, I was really happy with that. I was really proud of that. Scrabbleboard, I don't even know how it came up. As the ocean finally comes up within view, the Scrabbleboard shore pulling away. Yeah. Some lines are better than the poem they're in. That may be one of them. That's why I keep coming back to it to see what I can do with it. But yeah, thank you. Every once in a while I get a line. Okay, let's get to some of the ones I'm proud of. Now that I'm not proud of all these. I'm not proud of all of them. Alright. None of these. Here we go. Okay. This one, these line breaks are not necessarily like this. What I mean breaks, I mean the spacing. That's not, it all goes together. But when I put it in here, it translated weird. Somehow I did it. It's entirely specific in a very unique way. I was trying that on purpose, and I try to do that because one of the things that I was taught and what I learned when I was in the program and when I was writing is the specific is the universal, not the other way around. So if you try to give somebody something that everyone can appreciate, you're going to give them nothing that they can appreciate. If you give them something that you specifically really, really like and you can describe it in a very, very specific detail, everybody can appreciate it. So that's where the images come from. That's where I try to work on an image harder than the message. Message is as important. So if I'm working on a poem like this one, I don't care what people get out of it. They will get something out of it, I hope. Unless, if they don't get anything out of it at all, then I've screwed up somewhere. But there should be something in there that catches. And I'm hoping it's the image. So if I can get the image to work, it could be anything. It's specific things that will get you. Where it's not the things that you read about in the Hallmark card, it's the things that you can't forget in the middle of the night. It's the things that while you're driving, you lose your train of thought and you start daydreaming. It's those things that you keep coming back to, whether it be like, for example, the color of a swing set bench when you were growing up and the sound that the chains made, or the way that the puddles looked after winter thaw in your backyard, or the smell of your sister's hair, those sorts of things that you think are only you, right? But they're not. Those things actually become universal if you describe them. So that's kind of where I go from. As opposed to saying, oh, look at the beautiful flowers. Oh, roses are so pretty. Well, that's great, but describe your roses to me, and then I get it. If you just describe me roses, I'm just thinking of the same thing everybody else is. But that's not always easy either. You can't always do that. So it's tough. That's why I go with the image. You work in a similar way. Always try to depict I always aim to depict my understanding of the truth. The small things build everything, basically speaking. Right. And truth is one of those things to always be wary of, right? It's like the thing about writing about ideas. Oh, I think it'd be really neat to write a poem about gravity and planets. Great. why don't you describe a planet being affected by gravity in as specific way as possible, and that might be interesting. Yeah, I mean, it's going a little bit of one over the other too. And like I was talking about earlier, I often have a problem with poets that try to tell me what the meaning of their poem is. Because oftentimes with the poems I write, I think I know what they're supposed to be about, but somebody else reads them and says oh no, it's about this. I'm not going to argue with them. They're probably right. So, you know, it's lenses through which we view the world, right? The honesty is detectable. I think that's a little bit earnesty. I think is what I try to go for. Yeah. I could talk about this stuff all day. Okay, this is working in the lumberyard. So, I've been giving background to these. You can ignore it if you like, but I like talking about it just because it gives me a lead up into the poem, as opposed to just starting. But there was a time period when I was teaching where I was adjuncting. And adjuncting means you have a contract for the semester, and then you have to find a job over the summer. You don't get paid constantly. So I worked in a lumberyard, making wooden pallets. So crates and pallets all day long, every day, all day, just to make money meet. And the Little Prince, my rose is unique in all the world. Nice. Well done. Okay, fair enough. Right. Yeah, but I was working there, and well, that's where I got the inspiration for this poem. Working the lumberyard. That summer I cut wood for pallet makers who nailed particle board and 2x4s together, smoked cigarettes, and when they stood in front of the fan, they said they don't get paid enough for this shit. It's so fucking hot out there. But one man in his 50s, skin burnt pink as pine, corded forearms taut and blackened, veins big as rivers running everywhere, worked a big job building medical equipment crates, each moored in the yard like an ark before the rains began. Make sure you can see it all. Inside the warehouse, the pitch grew higher with each cut trunk, the circular saw hot from ripping trees into pieces, making the air scorched and gray. I stacked boards 6 high, 10 across, my hands covered in dried blood, grit, and splinters. Outside, the burnt and corded crate maker had stopped and looked up, leaning against a stack of 4x4s like an old rifle, nail guns hanging from each hand. On a forklift several feet in the air was his last crate, 20 feet long, boards of fresh oak, yellow and gold, wood breathing and alive, each joint a constellation of nails, every angle flashing like stained glass. I understood that wood keeps away water and wind, that metal splits bone and rends muscle into threads as easily as linen. But here, each man stopped and looked. The silence moved between them and spoke a prayer with words as real as a falling hammer. And the sighing of the saw as the blade spun down, a clear and melancholy hymn, was as terrifying as blood running inside a splintered hand, yet as pure as salvation. Keep trying with this one. Still don't know if it's there, but it's close. Yeah, in those cases you mentioned, I'd rather just read a leaflet. Thanks, Spark Blue Cat, you're right. Indeed. Wabba Plays. Hey, man, how are you doing? Good to see you. I'm just reading. Just trying to give the people some entertainment. Good to see you, man. How you been? Well, I know you've been streaming. I've been seeing all your posts on Twitter. So very, very good stuff. Also, I don't know. I was gonna say, Panda. I was gonna ask you if you're still out there, how the icon turned out too. Thank you. That's a hell of a compliment. There's a fantastic muscularity in my style. Trying to, every once in a while. That one I tried to be. That one had to be, because that's what I wanted it to do. It had to have that masculinity without being masculine. Does that make any sense? Yeah. So that was one of the ones. That one went into the thesis. That's had many, 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 many drafts. When I ever work on it, it's small pieces I move around. That's about it. So yeah. So Wabba, welcome. I'm just reading poems that I've worked on for years, since I thought that's a little bit easier to do than trying to game on the road. So that's kind of where all this stuff is coming from. So good to have you. Good to have you all, by the way. Thank you so much for coming around. This has actually turned out to be really fun. I'm glad everybody was able to show up. So I'm sorry for making it so last minute. Next time, I promise I will send my notifications out a little bit more ahead of time. But if this is something I can do, I have a couple more road trips left, so you may see more of these. Are you really? You're a published poet? Well, what the heck? Here I am in the presence of greatness, and I don't even know it. Damn. I was just telling earlier, a Colin was asking about it. I have one poem published in some unknown magazine, some unknown medical journal somewhere. And that's about it. So what have you published a novel though, didn't you? I thought you published a book. Oh, in your school's poetry journal? Nice. You took 2 poetry classes? I think I had a couple poems published in our journals. When I was in undergrad, I did. But it was kind of cheating because I worked on the journal. The second one, when I went for my MFA, I did not. And actually, it kind of became a yelling match between... Not a yelling match, but it was a point of contention. Because everybody else in my poetry workshop, and this is in grad school now, and the journal was open to anybody to submit, and then it was reviewed by a committee that was chosen from the English department and from the graduate students. And so I wasn't on it, but a lot of my peers were, and everybody except me got a piece in it. And I had a friend of mine tell me, like, yeah, I fought for it to try and get something in there, and nobody would take it. So, no, I didn't get published in it. You wrote one, your teacher basically said you're publishing it, and we submitted it to some other journals, but it did not get accepted. Yeah. And there were, Colin was asked about that too. That gets tough. I mean, because you can self-publish, of course, and I know guys that do that, and it's not a bad way to go, because at least you have something tangible, but actually getting published in journals is a lot of effort and heartache. Even university journals. I mean, shoot. Like I said, I didn't get mine, and I submitted several pieces, and I didn't get one in. But a lot of the other universities have some pretty heavy-duty poetry journals and writing journals and things like that, and people submit from all over the nation, and they have really strict requirements, or can. And it just takes putting a packet together, sending it off, putting a packet together, sending it off, and if it doesn't have the formatting requirements and it doesn't follow their policies, when they get it, they dump it and go on to the next one. So yeah, it's a lot of heartache to try and become, trying to publish a body of work. I have some that you want to submit. Wrote one about chess that I have post-it notes. I used to start it, but lost the draft. Another I wrote in school in Sestina. The form was in a Sestina. Sestinas I was addicted to for a while because I loved the turn in the middle. Formal poems have an easier chance of getting published, but they have to be good. They have to be good. They have to be exact. That I've noticed. But yeah, I'm a sucker. I read a poem earlier this afternoon that was my attempt at a pantoum. It wasn't really a pantoum. But yeah, no, I kind of got away. I started writing formal poetry when I first started to learn the forms, because you had to in the program. And then I slowly got away. But yeah, so shoot, we're surrounded by poets. What the hell, man? Who knew? We're all streamers and poets. Someone once published the lyrics to one of my songs, I'm Okay, as their own poem in a university paper? No! They were outed by the faculty. Thank God. That's about it for poetry and me. Shows that it was good, yeah. I think about that song all the time. That pisses me off. I like that song. I listen to I'm Okay a lot. Because it's been a hard couple of weeks. That's a good song for that. Damn. I shouldn't say this. I'm going to anyway, because you never know. I saw something like that, and she'd probably yell at me for saying this. I was in a workshop where a piece was submitted that was very, 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 very similar to another poem of a poet that I loved, who was, he was long dead, but basically after reading it over and over again at night, because we were supposed to read all the poems beforehand, put our notes, and come to class, and I kept reading it and going like, I have nothing to say about this. This is this other poem. Anything I say about this poem, I'm actually making reference to the other one. And so I basically printed it off, stapled it, and said, hey, this poem looks awfully influenced by this. Is that what happened? She was pissed. She didn't say a word and left the class. I know. Well, we went through it, and everybody said all their nice things, and I did that and handed it off. And a buddy after that was like, just laughed. He's like, you totally called her out on it. I was bad. I was not a nice person in workshop. I was the guy you didn't want to talk to. Oh, yeah, I know that song. Shoot, I've tried to buy everything you got on Amazon and iTunes. I don't know if I have an iTunes account. I've tried to grab them all. Otherwise, I've tried to make sure to favorite them in YouTube. So, yeah. No, all your stuff is good. Yeah, if you don't know Smart Blue Cat's music, everybody, you need to be listening to Smart Blue Cat's music. Oh, my God. The one that always goes through my head all the time is Sparks. But, yeah, I know I'm okay. Grey Garden. I haven't heard that one. I'm writing it down. I haven't heard that one in a long time. What's the other one? Simple Plan. I am a simple man with a simple plan. That song goes through my head all the time. Also, the music video goes through my head all the time too. So, yeah, you got some work, man. You got some good work. I love it. I love it. All of it. Love all of it. It's great. Okay. So let's see how much time we got left. Yeah, I got a few more poems I gotta read, and then I gotta take off because I gotta do laundry yet today, and I'm gonna meet my partner in crime who's helping doing the turnovers here for dinner. Okay. Oops. Shit. Do the thing. Okay. Oh God. Yeah, we're doing this one. This one's tough. Let me, can I do that? Okay. It'll be a little bit easier. This one you may want to look up. Sparks is good. Sparks is a hell of a good song. Sparks is a trippy song. Man, I have to go back through my playlist now. Speaking of Smart Blue Cat, there's the mod that he works on, so... Friends of Inigo. So Inigo is the Smart Blue Cat that Smart Blue Cat works on and produced for Skyrim that I use in all my playthroughs. So funny enough, that link pops up right there. Let me do this. This is going to be self-promotion. I apologize for this. I hate doing it, but let me put this here because you may want to have this up on if you want to see what I'm reading. I don't know if I'm going to be able to go through it fast enough. So in case you wanted to take a look at it. All right. You don't have to. It's fine. I mean, it'll be there anyway. It's not going anywhere. That I know of, unless they pull the site down. This one went in the manuscript. And this one I do need to... I can give a little bit more background on. So you might know the reference already. Obviously, it's a biblical reference, but that's not why I've got it. And I think when I put it in the manuscript for my thesis... I had to explain both that and where it came from. Thank you. I stole it. So we talked about my middle name, right? My middle name, well, as you can see, Connor W. Shank. The W is William. This is my grandfather's name. He was a professor in animal science and nutrition, and he wrote kind of a seminar paper. Or a seminar on kind of like your last seminar ever kind of thing. So if you had to give a seminar and it was the last one you're ever going to give, what would it be? He had one that he did called All Flesh is Grass. And it's the biblical reference to the passage. I can't quote it for you to save my life. If you looked it up, you'd find it. Also, too, it's also in reference to Alfred Lord... No, it's not. It's Alfred Lord Tennyson. Wait a minute. Hang on. It's not what I'm thinking it is. Shoot. No, it is, okay. It is from Old Testament, Isaiah 46, but it's 40 comma 6. But it was also... Shoot, I thought it was also a reference to Alfred Lord Tennyson. I could be wrong. Because he did say something like that about his friend who died. But I don't know if I used that here. Maybe I did. Anyway. So he called his all flesh is grass. He meant it quite literally. All things come from the things they eat, and the end of the food chain ends in flora. So that was his process. And I read that a couple of times, and I was working on this poem, and I finally just labeled it all flesh is grass and kept on working on it. This has been put through the goddamn ringer several times. Even the look of it right now probably isn't accurate. It's trying real hard, but even with, that's the problem I don't like with digital formats, even with a PDF, is that it's not always exactly how I wanted it to be. But neither here nor there, the words are still there. So this one, I started it in that same 2-week period when my mother was my mother was dying of cancer. But it took me forever to get this far with it. You'll see a lot of repetition of different images we've heard today. So we'll see. But this one's tough, so I apologize if I start to tear up. I should be okay though. Alright. All flesh is grass. All flesh is grass. Excuse me. Please don't let them die, you said. But only dirt is left in the flower pot, brown and dry, smooth between my fingers, bright purple stones laid on top. I went through little rooms lined with people looking for hope, people taking blood, for days with you. I mapped doorway to car door to building, every step backward. I forged through a man-made frontier infested with concrete and plastic tubes. I found you wheelchairs when I could. The flower pot itself is a squat smokestack, like on a refinery, the smoke wafting from it, a small breeze in the dry soil. My arms became crutches, my legs tubular beams, my body a steel framework, something to hold on to. I stood before death, held it back with both hands, handling it like a rabid cat, by the throat and claws, subduing it with paperwork and cliches. Younger hands took the frail remains, roots and leaves, out of the flower pot, the delicate brown and yellows of dead philodendrons. Please don't let them die, you said. There. I said, of course, like someone looking down train tracks. How could I stop their dying even a moment? Don't you see how scared I have become? I am a young man on the verge of an orphanage. I am silly, whimpering again like an ill-fitting window. Inside I shake like a train. I'm sorry. Let's have a drink, you and I. Let's go. And I'll crush the ice, pour the scotch. Let's drink to your health. 1 glass for 2 now. Leave the phone off the hook. Leave the bills calling for money. I'll turn off the computer, the lights, lock the door. Death is a simple circle. Simple as a ring, a wheel, a button. Still don't like the ending. Rock. So here's the problem. This is kind of visual, and I don't think I did it right. So this goes with this, goes with this, and then it all mixes together. And I tried to do that visually. I tried to do that with the line breaks, but even now you can see it's kind of hard to tell because I wanted that. I had two things going on, and there are two poems here, and they don't necessarily talk to each other. So there's the one about the flower pot and the dead philodendrons in the flower pot, and there's stones on the top of the flower pot, whatever. Then there's the poem about me and mom. Excuse me. All flesh is grass, right? Trying to loop it all back together at the end. It's a hard sell, and even in the last tail end here, like this is kind of like the home run. Should be. There's another line I used to have in there, and I think the other version's better. What? Mesmeric, consistent, honest, heartbreaking, outstanding, wild moist eyes. So I warned you. I told you that's what I go for. I go for the jugular when I wrote these, trying to kind of instill an emotional response. Sad thing is that you can kind of figure out a recipe for it, but is that really what you want to do? Let me see if I can find the last part of it, because there was another version I had that I think I kind of want to go back to. Let me see. It's one of these. Okay, yeah, these are. Yeah, this is a lot different. I put it up on the screen, but I've got it on a different computer, and I don't want to faff around with it and see if I'd screw it up. Really? Okay. Well, that makes sense then. That's something to keep in mind. I didn't think about that. I think the thing is that I'm looking at another version of it. You can do it visually better, fragmenting it and breaking it, so you can actually see the almost like two different, like a wall crumbling, which the whole thing is crumbling. So these breaks, like even here to here, this should be like out here-ish. It should be almost an inch off, that far away, but it's hard to do. And then when you're reading it, you don't see it. So this poem is a lot more visual, in my opinion. This isn't the. Oh, what the. That's not it. Can this one open? No, Google can't open this. Ah, it can. Awesome. Okay. Wait. Well, okay. If it does, then good. Then I did something right with it. Then I'll leave it. Let me read the last passage again. This is of a previous draft, so it's going to be close. It's not going to be exact. I did this before too, so see what you think here. So I'm sorry. Let's have I'm sorry is how it starts, just like this one does. I'm sorry. Let's have a drink, you and I. Let's go, and I'll crush the ice, pour the scotch. Let's drink to your health. One glass for two now. Leave the phone off the hook. Leave the bills calling for money. I'll turn off the computer. The lights lock the door. Death is a simple circle, simple as a ring, a wheel, a button. Death is come, gone, and come round again. Drink deeply. I will too. Gives a little bit more of a not so angry of a response to it, or such a stark response. Actually, this one I'm going to manage it. So let me just do manage writing. Where is it? That guy. Oh, come on. Let me make that change, because I do like it better with those in it, because I think it makes more sense. So if we get down to the bottom, death, oops. Oh, come on. Oh, whoops. Ha! Wrong computer. Hold on. There. Alright, let's have that for now. I may hate it later, but even reading it now, I felt like I keep chopping off the endings of things. I need to stop doing that, I think. All right, what are we doing for time? You like them both? Then I'll make my decision. I'll go with what I like. But I think reading it, I want to have that moment longer. There's something about bringing people to the edge of that and then dropping off a cliff that I think you actually lose the momentum. I could be wrong. And maybe it's just doing it now. Okay. One more that I think I'm proud of. And then we can wrap up. Yeah, this one's a little bit heavier. This is one I wrote after I already left the program. So this is after having gone through it completely. And then I did this one. This one's kind of a trip. So, a lot of biblical references. Well, not really biblical. I don't know why I do. I'm not religious in any mean respect. But I keep going to it for images. And it could just be because I was raised Lutheran, but read a lot of Old Testament when I was younger. So maybe it's just maybe it's just the myth of it all. I don't know. Not myth, but you know what I mean. The language of it all. The stories stuck with me or something like that. All right. So, as you know, I've got two girls, two stepdaughters, or basically I call them my daughters if I'm pushed. Oh shoot! I missed that. Webba! Oh crap! I missed the host, dude. I'm so sorry. That was a huge host with 10 viewers, man. Thank you very, very, very much. I totally missed that. That's the problem with running it this way. I guess I don't hear the alerts as well as I'd like. I also turned the volume down. I am sorry. Thank you so much for those of you who came from Wabba's channel. My name is Deadlinux. Normally I play games, but today is a little different because I'm off-site. But thank you for that, sir. Crap, I totally missed that. Now I feel like a complete heel. But yeah, hopefully you guys are enjoying it. Hopefully you came along and enjoyed it. But or are enjoying it. But yeah, thank you so much for the host, sir. That's amazing. Yeah, you're knocking them dead over there on Wabba Plays, man. Nice. Okay. So this is probably the one I worked on the most. We'll see. I was gonna say, yeah, I pull for stories from them. But then, okay, so on the same token, then I also love Norse myth and Greek myth and Roman myth. So I pulled. I had a bunch of poems about Iceland, and those I did pull from Norse myth. I have to read one of those before we're done. Yeah, I can do that. So I guess, yeah, it's the stories, yeah, or anything else. Stepfather syndrome. Okay, so it's got a thing on the top of it. A literal Golgotha of poetic inspiration. Isn't Golgotha a great word with a great meaning behind it? Anytime you can use it. Awesome. So, this is how it starts. This is the inspiration for it. So, Solomon issued his verdict. Bring me a sword. Divide the living child in two and give half to one and half to the other. The two mothers' reactions were worlds apart. The first mother pleaded with the king, "Oh, my lord, give her the living child, and by no means kill him." But the second mother's words were chilling. "Let him be neither mine nor yours, but divide him." Kings 3:24-26. So that's the inspiration, if you don't know. Alright. This is a long time ago. This is when I first became a stepfather. I don't have any other children than them. So that was my first experience with children. Wandering through the lobby of the dance studio like mewling sheep, children bump numbly into each other, into walls and tables. Women with wardrobes out of good housekeeping collect their progenies by chant. "Come here, David. Don't touch her, David. David, David." Each parent sees with an old priest's eyes, casually glancing over the herd like Solomon when he ruled over 2 mothers and 1 baby. Back then, a man arguing with a woman over flesh and blood, a daddy might, too, have agreed to have his half split, wrapped, and handed to him like a tenderloin, while every mother screamed no forever. But in the dance studio, I neither deny nor claim, and the two little girls dressed in tutus and tights I brought to their ballet lessons. The two little girls dressed in tutus and tights I brought to their ballet lessons aren't mine. I have no spare doorway in which I could pine for these girls. But after carrying them back and forth from dance to school, reminding them to put their carefully folded underwear back into their dressers instead of strewn on the couch, listening daily to stories of who said what when, my love plays the old wet nurse, applied dutifully. But when my wet nurse of love returns home to the town where I will die, no children will follow, bawling and left behind. I, too, know that need to have two little girls cut in half to see what's mine and not mine, yet if their daddy came forward to claim his own in front of Solomon the king, we both would be left with our ears ringing in the church bells of their screams. So now I watch the mothers' mouths closely, practicing how to wrap my lips around the long O sound and say, no, these girls are not mine. That one I'm proud of. That one took a long time. Still takes a long time. Oofta. Like I said, all these are available on that same link that I've got in there. So it's the hashtag and the subject, or not the hashtag, it's the pound and the subject for the command. But it's throughout the chat. That's actually up just a little bit too. So you're more than welcome to visit. Thanks. I got lucky with that one. All right, let me see what else I've got here, and then we'll wrap it up. Let's see. Orbits we read already. Taking bills for anxiety, that one needs work. Winter poem, no. Freshest grass, no. Rainy poem doesn't. End of the moon, no. No, I've read through all of those. Shoot, okay. Let me look through and see. Actually, let me see what I can find here. Okay, come here. Come over here. I'm trying to look up on Drive the manuscript itself, see if I can find something. Give me just a second, because I would like to read a couple of those. Of course, of course, but it's in reference to the line of the quote at the beginning is that the real mother would say, no, the child isn't mine. I was trying to get there. I don't know if I got there, but that was kind of why I say no at the end. Is because, yeah, if there was ever a push me pull you or ever sort of a competition for affection over those two girls, nope. I would not want to rip them apart like that. That's not what I would want. At least that was the idea. Maybe it didn't come across. Hopefully you don't think I'm a horrible person. Well, you could think that anyway. Alright, let's see. I have it as collections, do I? I do. Here's the thesis. Okay, so is it this one? The Century School Book? Is this? Ooh, no, that's a good one. We'll save that for next time. No. Oh, wait. No, we read that one already. Okay, so it's none of those. It must be part of this one here. Good, so then I got it. Good. Woofda. I was hoping I got it. Maybe I screwed it up and it didn't get there. So that would really upset me if I didn't get to... I tried to get to that point, but... It's a risk. Every poem's a risk. You don't get to where you think you would. No. Oh, did I really call it that? That's a good one, too. Oh, I have all these other ones I can read next time. Ooh, that's a pretty one. I can do that, I think. Let's see. Can I pop this up? Open a new window. There we go. That's what I want. And give me the thesis in full screen view, please. Okay. So, if I grab it. I should have loaded this on. Ooh, that's a good one. I can do that one too. Here, let me bring it over so you know what I'm talking about here. Okay. So, that was like a penny dropping? I don't know the reference. What do you mean? Penny dropping? Did you hear a penny drop? Did I do something wrong? Or are you referring to the sound? Okay. I'm going to read two more. And I gotta quit. So I'm going to do this one and then another one. Okay. So this is one of the ones I did from Iceland. So, Ode to the Codex Regius. So this is, the Codex Regius is one of the first books, essentially, ever really produced like a book would be. And I actually saw it in Iceland when I was visiting. Oh, like a realization is a penny dropping? I don't know that phrase, and I thought I knew all the old cliches like that. Not that it's a cliche, it's a great phrase. I didn't know if I knew that. Yeah, the Codex Regius is one of the first poem books, essentially. Thought to have been written in the 1270s. Gotcha. Okay. A penny dropped is an understanding. I should make a note so I don't forget. I'll see it again and I won't get it. Okay. So this is poems about that. So, Ode to the Codex Regius. Without you, I am less than a few feathers and a blade of grass. Your faded pages shine with the death of the world written in red and gold. You are more than a book, a building, a bridge, the first attempt at capturing blood, trapping it in song. The world, a club-footed child, stumbles in your prophecy. One of the things it describes is Ragnarok. So kind of fitting for all the Marvel stuff going on right now. That's not the one I wanted, though. No. Read that one earlier. No. Oh, Gudrun. We'll read that later. I'll save that for later. There's all flesh is grass, but this is not what I wanted. Body rest stays at rest. On reading naked. Infusion room. Water tension. Shoot, this isn't the one I wanted. Maybe it is this. So, it's not you. It's this. Come here, I think. Anyway, might be. Find out. Sorry, everybody. Hold on just a second. That's it right there. Okay, so. Okay, this one will be a nice one to end on. I've got game. You got game, my dude. You sound like Craig Risseri. That's awesome. Thank you. I'm trying. Okay, so you'll love this. So, swearing, do we have any children in the audience tonight? Hopefully not. Okay. So this actually happened, well, every poet could say that, and whether or not it's true or not is completely farcical. But I was sitting with the girl I was dating at the time, and she was talking to a friend of hers, and then she suddenly handed me the phone, and her friend proceeded to use the opportunity to she wanted to tell me how much she hated poetry, and then go back to her conversation. Like you do, you know. Tell somebody, if you see someone who's a poet, make a point to tell them you hate poetry before anything else. So that's what this is about. So to the person who called to tell me they hate poetry. Why the fuck should I feel anything about a tree? It's got leaves and it's dark. I watched a man die and didn't feel anything then, so why the fuck should I care about this? Language is hers. Whoa. There is no reason. None at all. And the man dying, don't worry about him. He was going to die anyway. And the tree doesn't mind. It will be fine and hold shadows just as well. But me, why tell me? I feel for both the tree and the man. I care about the snow, the sky and the ground, the snow and shadow. I care that I watched my mother dying for weeks and weeks, and in my dreams I see my grandfather's body lying on the floor, blue eyes staring into the ceiling. I write these poems, but the poems themselves are as apathetic as the sky, the shadows, the tree, and the man. They don't care, just as you don't care. But if you do care, you'll wake in the night screaming about sky, shadows, and snow. If you do care about the trees, you'll never be able to walk alone again. And if you do care about the words of a dying man, you'll never stop speaking, telling your story over and over again to one person after another who keeps saying to you, I just don't care. But you'll do it for the rest of your life. I'll put that one up there so you guys can see that one too. So yeah. Alright, well, folks, I probably should get going and get something to eat here. So I will be getting back to real life. Thank you so much for coming along. Thank you so much for watching, for all of you who've been here. I really appreciate it. Wabath, again, thank you for the host that I completely missed. I apologize for that. Hubby, thank you so much for the bits. Holy crap. Samara, thank you for the subscription, and everybody for coming along. Some people hear no music and see nothing. Exactly, and that was this. And so I thought, you know what? That's fodder for a poem right there. We're going to use that as a good old poem. We'll make that into a poem. That'll work for a poem. I think the poem's better. Of course I do. But yeah. So thank you so much for everybody coming along. I really appreciate this, and we'll do this again. And like I said, I will try to make sure I give a little bit more of a heads up before I do these. And we can put them back into rotation, or put it into the rotation, maybe on a Sunday or something like that. If you enjoyed them, if you liked them, so we'll see. Thank you! Thank you very much. Coming from you, Smart Blue Cat, you have no idea how much that really means, because I've been watching and listening to your work for a long time. So thank you, thank you. If I can even give back just a little bit, I really appreciate that. Cool. Yeah, good to see you too, Colin. I was hoping I could grab people. And keep producing your series. I have to catch up on it. I am way behind. But I keep seeing all the notifications, so even though I'm liking it, that doesn't necessarily mean I've caught up on it yet. But I'm trying to make sure I'm keeping track of how far behind I am. So keep up what you're doing. It's awesome. It's a lot of fun, and I love all the little ones too. All the little videos you put out there, they make my day. And yeah, everybody else for coming along: Panda, Pseudo, Baba, Samara, Smart Blue Cat, Colin. All you guys, thank you so much for coming along. Our stranger who I had to ban real quickly. Bless your heart and blessed hubby. Thank you guys for coming too. Thank you guys for showing up. I miss you guys too. I'm hoping after this is all done. I don't think I'll have a regular schedule until after July. I really don't. Which stinks, but it's the truth. So these will be sporadic until I can get there. So that's why I want to give something in the meantime. And I figure, well, this is other stuff that I create. So we'll see. Let me see if I can pass off the love to somebody else here. Hang on just a second. Let me see who else I can raid. See if anybody's on. Let's see. I'll surprise Slavio. I don't think he knows I'm watching. So let me give a raid over to him. So if you guys want to keep watching streams, go for it. I'm not going to be there. I'm going to go catch dinner, and I need to do some laundry. But you guys go right ahead and tell him hi for me if you do go over there. Oh, she does. She who must be obeyed wants the TV back. Gotcha. I completely understand. So if you're not hanging around, I do know the feeling. This is always a tough one because he's Araragi. Got it. But anyway, so if you guys want to go along, go for it. Otherwise, thank you guys so much for coming along. We will see you guys later. Take care.